Hey, how you doing? My name is Austin,
Susie.
and welcome back to the Wholesome Lending Group podcast, where we talk about, well, I guess it's just a channel at this point, but we're talking about everything DSCR loans. We work with real estate investors to help them fund the deals they find fast. And so in this video, we are talking about why your DSCR loans keep getting stuck in underwriting, which we've worked with plenty of investors at this point, and there's always some type of a hiccup when it comes to moving through underwriting. So we want to talk about our experience, like working with clients, as well as some things that you can keep in mind as you are going after your deals so that you can move as quickly as possible and get through the underwriting phase, right? So starting off, where do you want to start? There's a couple of things. We got a lot of it, honestly, a lot of it is centered around paperwork, to be honest.
Yeah, let's start with just the appraisal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when you first start like a DSCR deal, and specifically I'm talking about like a cash out refi,
Yep.
one where the client wanted to take out, 75% of
Mm-hmm.
the appraised value.
Yeah.
The appraisal is super important because that determines how much money you can actually take out,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, in particular, we worked with a client who we thought the appraised value was going to come back at like 170.
Yeah.
But indeed, it only came back at like 120.
Yeah. This is our client in not Virginia.
Yeah, it was
It
Virginia.
was Virginia, right? Okay. Sorry
Yeah,
about.
so he has a property in Virginia, and it came back lower. It came back at 120, which meant that we had to restructure the deal
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of do the comps again, and that delayed things.
Yeah, it takes a lot. Yeah, it takes time, especially depending on the lender you're working with and their time frame, or how fast they move. It depends on the lender that's funding the deal. That's another
Yeah,
thing to keep in mind, but I'll talk about that in a second.
yeah. So also, the client has to agree
Yeah, true.
to want to move forward still.
Yeah,
So that takes a little bit of time, communicating with the client, like, hey, like, it came back lower than we expected. Are you still okay with, doing 75, but now you're going to be getting X amount instead of X amount? And,
hmm
luckily he agreed. He knew that, he had to get what he had to get, and he just kind of hoped that it was going to be higher, but
yeah,
he was okay with, getting anything.
hmm
And so that kind of delayed the thing. So appraisal is like one of the biggest things that always kind of delays something, because
yeah,
you never know. You can estimate and you could do comps on,
yeah,
the different surrounding properties, but you never know. It's whatever the market is telling you at that time.
yeah. At the time that you're going to get the deal funded, right? You
Exactly.
could have
Yeah.
had your eye on it for a couple months. It was sitting. It's a dilapidated property. It's a pocket listing, right? It's an off market deal, but at the time, well, just that's different, right? You're talking about DSCR cash out refis. I'm just talking about general DSCRs,
But I
but
mean,
it,
appraisal
yeah,
in
appraisals, yeah,
general.
is time sensitive regardless.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, hundred
it's
percent.
whatever, last month it could have been up 20. This month it's down 40.
Yeah, yeah,
So
no, that
you
makes
just
sense.
never know.
Yeah. Some other things that we've seen that delay deals are just paperwork, right?
Yeah.
When you, and honestly, this is what I was going to mention earlier. Picking the lender that's funding your deals is extremely important, because that's going to determine the experience or what the process is going to be when it comes to
Yeah.
getting things done or getting them to closing, right? So whether you're working with a major institution, they're a little bit more rigid. If you're working with some private money, you want to make sure you're just not getting just destroyed on rates. But it's tough making sure you find. And we vet the lenders that we work with,
Yeah.
and we have some really great ones that have done, like, they do a great job. And as soon
Yeah.
as we don't, as soon as we have a bad experience, then we'll walk away from them. But regardless, let's say you pick the right lender, you pick the right person to fund your deal. A lot of things that mess up investors is that they're not really organized. They got all the paperwork all over the place, right? Old LLC, stuff's expired, information's wrong on it, right? Like, we've
Yeah.
seen all of that.
Yeah. So I'll pull up an example since we walked through this with a client, but pretty much the paperwork just didn't match.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he told us that the property was already rented. and he had a tenant in there, but when he sent it the agreement, the name on the agreement didn't match the name of the tenant that he had given us before. So now underwriting has more questions. It's like, okay, you said Sally lived there, but the paperwork says Peter lived there. Like, tell me more. So now they're asking for more documents. Turns out that he sent in an old lease.
Yeah.
And that client had already, or that tenant had already moved. And so it just created more paperwork that it needed to be. Another example was a guy who, was doing a DSCR loan in Virginia.
Yep.
But he sent us LOC paperwork for a property he had in Ohio. So you have to have an LOC in the state
that you're doing your deal.
Yeah. So he sent in LOC paperwork for Ohio, which, okay, that's great. He has another property in Ohio, but we weren't doing the deal in Ohio. We were doing it in Virginia. So I didn't catch it. Our assistant didn't catch it. It's just something that you kind of overlook. And so then underwriting kicked it back like, hey, like we actually need an LOC in Virginia. So that took a little bit. So it's always paperwork. It's always like the little things that kind of keep things stuck.
Including bank statements, right? Like
yes.
Lenders want to see proof of funds. They want to see your reserves, right? They might ask for 5 statements. You only send 2 or 3. Right. You need to be very specific. And that honestly is the best part about when we work with investors is helping them through this process to make sure, only thing you're focused on is the deal, the renovations, your property management. It's our job to make sure you get the best rates and that you have a smooth experience from the beginning all the way through the end of escrow, all the way to close. So, but bank statements is another one that we see that and all these things aren't bad necessarily. These are all very fixable and easy, but speed and deal margin, speed and profit are the name of the game in real estate. So the quicker you can get through, the less time you spend on stuff that doesn't matter, the less time your cash is locked up, the quicker you can move forward to the next stage of your project, right? And that's the longer a project takes, the less you're going to have in revenue, less you're going to have in those margins. So that's why we're even making this video, because we want to see your deals get through underwriting. And so we're just sharing experiences we've had with our clients.
Yeah. Let's see. Is there anything else that I could add as to why things kind of get stuck up?
No, I think that's a good space right there. We don't want to make this a long video, but if you've had something, a reason or something that's for some reason your property got stuck in underwriting or it took a little bit longer, man, share it. Put it in the description below. We'd love to hear and comment on it and see what your experience has been. And maybe you have a deal and you're like, you know what? I need to fund this deal. I'm looking for a DSCR loan or a DSCR cash out refi. Click the link in the description below. You can shoot us an email at info@wholesomelendinggroup.com or click the link below. Put your deal in there as far as the amount, the address, and stuff like that, and then we'll get you a same day term sheet.
Yeah.
As soon as we receive it, we can get your term sheet to see if we can beat out your competitors to make sure not only you get the best rates, but then also work with you to make sure you have the best process from start all the way to close. So hopefully that helps. We're excited. We're always it's always great working with real estate agents. And then before we log off, just some things that we've been doing in the space. Recently, I've been going to real estate events, which has been fantastic. I went to a great event sponsored by Story Homes. They're located in Southern California, where we're based, meeting a lot of great people in real estate. One thing I love about real estate is obviously we're talking about DSCR, but you can meet people in so many different aspects and facets of real estate, right? I met guys that do ADUs nationwide. I met people that flip virtually in different states, that flip in their backyard, that wholesale, bunch of wholesalers. So that part's really, really cool. And we'll put pictures on the screen so you can see how that event went. And so if you are part of a REIA, right, real estate investor association or a local real estate group, we love to connect with you as well, because we're always looking to meet more and more investors and get involved in just the deals that they have going on, but then also just building that network and building that rapport. So that's been the coolest thing lately in real estate. And so we're excited to share more as we're giving you free game, but we're also going to share more about our journey in real estate and what we're doing, who we're connecting with, and who we're learning from. So hope that helps. We appreciate you guys tuning in for this episode, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.